The problem. FNaF AR is dead, leaving a gap to be filled by followers trying to carry everything with their own content. The solution? I open up Google Docs, pretend that what I'm doing at this very moment actually helps anything, and make concepts myself. Now, copycatting Failboat's intros aside, this is something I've legitimately seen people do. No, I'm not talking about taking a set of animatronics into Blender and making workshop animations. I'm talking about people who legitimately just take characters and conceptualize the mechanics of how they'd work. I wanted to try this, and I put quite a tall order on myself for the first video doing this kind of thing, because I'm covering the 4 main Glamrocks. They were all said to have been planned for the game, but as we all know, that didn't happen. And with the relatively fresh release of Ruin, it seems like a good time. Now, the reason I'm covering all 4 at once is because there's a general idea across all of them that I thought of. Much like how it's explained through emails that the Mangle recreations can't climb ceilings and walls because it's literally not physically possible for the team to get them to do that, the player would intercept very similar emails that talk about how shoving all these advanced parts and routines that the Glamrocks have into these recreations made with a lower budget causes them to overload and fall apart very easily, hinting at the gimmick I gave the Glamrocks. That being, each time you shock them, they fall apart more, creating 3 phase encounters against their regular form, shattered, then ruined. With that being said, let's dive in. And before I begin, I just want to say, to avoid having this script go on for 9 miles, I've simplified the AIs into simple bullet lists. Glamrock Chica. Phase 1, very similar behavior to regular Chica. Like Toy Bonnie, she uses haywires that start white and have a chance to turn red, this referencing her deceptive behavior. Phase 2, or her shattered form, starts moving around you faster. She now uses 2 haywires in a row, requiring you to find her after the first one. There's still the white to red switching type. This goes further into her deceptiveness while also referencing her persistent nature. Phase 3, or ruined form, Concept 1. Her haywires can now start red in addition to how they were before, and she gains Baby's ability to haywire mid-charge. Once again, further delving into her deceptiveness while also slightly referencing Baby and Chica sharing a voice actor by having similar behavior. Of course, if you're not quite satisfied with that, I have another idea. Phase 3, Concept 2. She now drops food like how Mangle drops parts. There is no time limit to picking the food up, but you still need to collect a certain amount. The reason being that you trick Chica into attacking you by having food, leaving her open to being shocked. So yeah, I had 2 concepts for her 3rd phase because both seemed like good options. It all just comes down to which you prefer, and especially whether or not you like the idea of Baby's mechanic being given to another character. Either way, I think this is a solid start. Montgomery Gator, Phase 1. Very similar to Bonnie, uses white haywires because he loves popularity and he wants you to pay attention to him. Phase 2. Due to losing his legs, he is now technically shorter, like BB and Plushtrap, uses purple haywires, which for those of you who don't know, is an unused type where you have to shock the animatronic, and the reason he uses them is a reference to the fact that after he is broken in Security Breach, he reacts the worst to being flashed, responding with actual pained screaming. Phase 3 starts moving around you much faster. The Mangle part dropping mechanic is added, but it's actually the player accidentally dropping their own things, and there is a time limit to pick them up, because leaving them on the floor helps him find you. In a way, this is a twisted nod at the part where he's in the water, and if you're in the water, he can detect you even if you're not moving. Unlike Mangle, the amount of items you pick up does not determine when Monty attacks. He can attack at any time, the mechanic is just there to be an obstacle. Like the shattered form, he uses purple haywires because in Ruin he literally dies by getting electrocuted. Roxanne Wolf. Phase 1, very similar to Foxy, but with white haywires because, like Monty, she likes the attention and wants you to look at her. Phase 2, she's blind, so she gains the Ballora motion-sensitive mechanic where moving too much or making noise causes her to attack. She moves around you very, very quickly. She uses the purple shock haywires because it doesn't matter if you look at her or not, she's very close to you and will realize you're there, so you need to shock her to force her away from you. Phase 3, the motion-sensitive mechanic remains. You gain the mask in this phase. Like Toy Freddy, she can randomly start draining your battery and you have to put on the mask to stop it. There's no exact reference here, but you can come to your own conclusions about it being a reference to her being a security node or the fact that her shattered form drains door power in the burn trap fight. Anyway, that's not important. Her haywire is white, so you have to look at her, but you also have to be wearing the mask for it to work, referencing the scene where Cassie and Roxy talk while Cassie is wearing the security mask. And lastly, Glamrock Freddy. I did him last because much like Security Breach, his gimmick is emulating pieces from all his friends. Phase 1, we're emulating Chica's gimmicks. He performs haywires in chains of 2 that can be white, red, or the white to red kind. The explanation is that he's trying to scan your face, but his system may bug out and think you're a criminal, so you have to prevent him from finishing the scan. Phase 2 starts acting like Monty. This form uses the part drop mechanic. Like Monty, there's a time limit for picking up the parts, but unlike Monty, the amount you pick up does matter. You have to pick up 3 in order to complete the phase and force Freddy to charge. Overall, it also references how you upgrade him with 3 parts throughout Security Breach. Hey, it's me in post. I kinda realized while editing that I did not at all talk about which haywire this phase should have. I think it can do well with either red or purple, so there. And of course, phase 3, that means he starts using the Roxy gimmicks. Since he's now headless, he has the motion-sensitive mechanic and the player gains the mask. He frequently haywires using the red variety, so you have to look away from him, but you also have to wear the mask for it to work, referencing how you get around the ruined or prototype Freddy in Ruin. The power drain thing could also be added, but I don't think it's really needed. And there we go, quick and simple. Like I said in the beginning, it's not like me making this video is actually gonna really mean much for anything. I just did it because I don't know, I wanted to. Also, keep in mind that I'm not like an expert or anything, so if for some reason someone watching this has a PhD level of understanding about the workings of this game, I don't know what to tell you, man, I'm not perfect. Anyway, that just about wraps this up. If this does well and people want more, maybe this will become a series, but until then, that's gonna do it. I'll see you all another time. Bye!